So hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to this free introductory session of Wellcure's e-learning course, the Everyday Dairy-Free Delights. My name is Shweta. I'm from Team Wellcure, and I'm going to be hosting today's session. So before we get into the session, these are the few pointers I'd like to reiterate for smooth progress of the session. I'll request you to keep your, yourself on mute when you're not speaking. Keep your phones on silent. Any communication, question and answers, we'll use the chat window. And I'd request you to stick to the topic for questions. And you may take notes for future reference. So though I understand most of you are familiar with what Wellcure is all about, I'll take a minute to talk about Wellcure. So Wellcure is a natural healing platform. It's a digital platform. And on our platform, there are various sections. We have recipes. These are all healthy recipes, plant-based recipes. We have a body wisdom section, which is a compilation of articles related to natural health and natural living. Health journeys is a very inspiring section where we have journeys of people who heal themselves of chronic health issues using the nature's laws. We have a Q&A section where you can keep putting your queries related to natural health and natural living. Our nature care experts are there to support you. And in our event section, we have a compilation of all the detox events and different natural health workshops that we keep organizing from time to time. And then, of course, we have online courses like the dairy-free course. We have a couple of online courses that are there in our e-learning section for which you can enroll and learn at your own pace. So you can download our app from Google Play or App Store. So that's broadly about Wellcure. About today's session. So the flow of today's session is going to be like this. We will first begin with a presentation by the program expert, Vinita Contractor. She's going to be talking about dairy alternatives today, why you should go dairy free and what are the benefits of going dairy free. And then we will have a demo of one of the recipes from the Dairy Free Delights course. Post which we'll talk a little bit about what the course is all about and a special offer that we have for participants of this session. Post which will open the forum to any Q&A that you may have. You may ask your queries. Vinita is there to answer those. So now it's a pleasure to introduce the program expert, Ms. Vinita Contractor, who is a holistic lifestyle coach. So she is an expert when it comes to plant-based lifestyle. She herself follows a plant-based lifestyle, and she has curated multiple courses, a number of courses she has already curated on natural living, natural health, natural eating, and recipes. She's an expert in the area of creating natural plant-based recipes. And it's a pleasure to have her today. She's going to share her knowledge, experience about dairy-free, the benefits of going dairy-free today with us. And I'm sure it's going to be an insightful session as always. So Vinita, I welcome you. And with this, I hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Shweta, and thank you, Wellcure. Welcome all of you who are here. I'll dive straight in. I'm sure all of you will be eager to get started. I will keep checking the chat box as we go along. So this is my name and brand, Vinita Contractor. So this course we have brought together, Wellcure and myself. And all these pointers Shweta has already explained to you, and I'm sure most of you are familiar. It would be great if you could keep your camera on because it's nice to see people on the other end. These are the trainings I have undertaken so far. Hi Sumedha, hi Nidhi. I can see only two of you right now. When I open my screen, I'll see more people. So I work on a one-on-one basis with clients to achieve their health goals, whether it's weight loss, disease reversal, or restoring health in cases of lifestyle diseases, hormonal issues, whether it's diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, autoimmune conditions, thyroid, PCOS. I work with all of those very closely. So if any of you would like to reach out for that, you can contact me. I will share my contact details later. The Leafy Academy is where I have these two courses, which are presented to you via Wellcure as well. One of them is the Everyday Dairy-Free Delights, which is what you're getting an introduction to. My other course is Fun with Fermentation course, which I also have on my website. Every month I have a juice cleanse, which is do it yourself, where the recipes and the support and the WhatsApp group is created by me. And you're given all the inputs to do them at your own pace. And I, of course, conduct workshops for corporates and individuals, and I love doing that. My own plant-based journey started about 6 years ago, and after that, the whole family transitioned to a plant-based lifestyle. I got immense benefits in terms of energy, in terms of general sense of well-being, lightness. I did not switch for any health reasons. I had switched for environmental reasons, but I got a lot of additional health benefits which I wasn't even looking for. So today's agenda is understanding why no dairy, why we should skip dairy or at least drastically reduce whatever is our dairy consumption right now. What are the benefits you will experience by reducing or quitting dairy? And then give you an overview of the course and tell you why I think you should choose it. So it's part of nature's design for every mammal to feed its baby. And naturally, when the calf feeds on the baby, that's how the teats look. And an artificially, injected cow who has been kind of commercially exploited for the benefit of the industry, that's how the teats look. And we're the only mammal who drink milk of another species after we are fully grown. Our own babies also drink them till they are a certain age where they can eat, regular home food. A regular serving of milk, 1 glass, would have hormones, which you can see circled: estrogen, cortisol. There's, of course, cholesterol, there's fat, there are calories, but more important is the natural growth hormones, which are in every mammal again, for the growth of her own baby. So instead of the calf, we are the babies and we are getting the growth hormones from the cow, which are more suited for the calf, not us. Our growth hormones are suited for our human babies. Similarly, her growth hormones are suited for her calf. And estrogen is linked to prostate, uterine and ovarian cancers. And cortisol is linked to stored belly fat and lowered muscle mass. There are health issues connected to dairy. All these listed, if you have any of these happening to you, you should strongly consider dropping dairy. Most common, which I see most people having, is gas, bloating, digestive issues, or frequent colds and coughs, asthma, and difficulty losing weight. If you have any of these, please listen carefully. Also, we have this enzyme in our body, which helps us to digest the lactose, which is the sugar in the milk itself, and that enzyme is called lactase. So not enough is produced in our body after the age of 5-6 years of age in a human, and this is what leads to bloating, gas, nausea, etc. And many of us are used to the forms in which the taste is masked. Most children, when they are very small, if you give them plain milk after their breast milk of the mother, they don't like the cow's milk, the taste of cow's milk. It's because we add sugar, we add flavoring, we add other things. That's why we get used to it. And it also contains something called casomorphine, which is again a substance which is there in all milks to get the child addicted, the baby to get addicted to the mother's milk so that it will feed well. So when we consume that milk, we get it. And when we consume condensed forms of milk like paneer, cheese, ice cream, cream, we get loads more of that casomorphine because it's far more concentrated than, say, buttermilk or plain milk. So lactose maldigestion is due to the natural reduction in the activity or the amount of lactase, which reduces. Our body stops producing the required amount of lactase by the age of 5. And this is natural, it's normal, and about 75% of the world's population actually can't digest dairy very well. But because the symptoms are so easy to get confused with other things, they think bloating and gas and indigestion are normal things, or even acidity are normal things, but that's to do with our dairy consumption. So in addition to the protein, etc., that milk does have, or the calcium that milk does have, it also contains pus cells, blood, feces, a lot of antibiotics, bacteria. There's also IGF-1 growth factor, which is linked to diabetes risk. And the toxic milk also, which has the protein casein, contributes to breast cancer and irritable bowel syndrome, amongst other things. So why should you choose the course? It is because most people say, okay, we agree with you, Vinita, but we don't know how to go about it. How do we switch and make changes to all the things that we are used to consuming from our childhood? So to make the process of making the switch easier and to be able to make your own dairy alternatives at home without it costing you a lot, and for them to be delicious and simple enough, that's why this course is designed. When you make your own milk, your own dahi, you'd find the cost is much, much lesser than even the dairy milk, leave alone the ready store-bought almond milks, which cost so much more. So you learn to make your dairy-free alternatives in a course which is 100% online. You can avail of it anytime, 24/7, anytime as per your schedule. And as soon as you register, you can begin, or you can take your own time. You just register, log on, and get started. So there are 20+ recipes. There's a quiz. There are 11 simple and easy to follow video lectures, and there's a downloadable ebook which gives you all the recipes and hacks and nutritional facts so that you can keep the book with you forever. You get a certificate of participation, and you also get 1-year access to the course. And of course, you get WhatsApp and email support. So you get focus on you get focus to learn the core techniques. You get wherever possible nut-free options or soy-free options. And there are tricks, tips, variations that may be new to you, which you can learn from this, and you'll know where to order, what supplies you need, basically how to get started. And you will be shown local and inexpensive, easy to procure ingredients. These are some of the testimonials of people who have taken the course. And these are the recipes that you can learn. So when I work with clients, like I mentioned, I use a whole food plant-based approach along with other supportive elements from nature cure as well as Ayurveda. And when I guide people, dairy is not a part of that approach. Of course, people can take their time to transition and slowly reduce their intake, but it's not an approach. And that's how central this thing is to regaining health and even reversing health conditions. So the benefits that you can get from going dairy-free: weight loss, better energy, looking younger. You can fix your hormones if they're out of whack. Diabetes reversal or lowering of levels is definitely possible. Better success with PCOS. And another thing which I've not mentioned here is if you have acne and you have skin issues, those also greatly go away by going dairy-free. So I look forward to having you on board for the course, and I will take questions. And before I sign off, I have a free session coming up in a couple of days. It's the Basics of Ayurveda. There will also be a free demo, which I'll be sharing in this webinar. So if any of you would be interested, you can take a screenshot or note down the number on which you can register. You can do it via my email as well. And I'm on all social media on the handle Vinita Contractor. So if you follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, I'd be really happy to hear from you. And I always share a lot of tips, recipes, hacks, information on social media. So you can access that. And that's my email address, my phone number, and website. So I'm just going to go over the messages that have come on chat.
Vinita, would you like to play the recipe video first?
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Sorry. I was wondering how I finished so early. Can you see the YouTube page?
It's still uploading. It's not very, yeah.
And now we move on to Dahi Curd. It's something that many of us love to eat on a daily basis, and I'm going to show you a recipe which is not only easy, nutritious, but I'm also going to show it to you in two forms. So the main ingredient for this recipe is peanuts, but we can also make it with only almonds or just cashews or a combination of almonds and cashews. And the two variations of the recipes are because sometimes you might want a very thick dahi and sometimes you might want a slightly liquefied dahi, like you would need for a curry, for example, in which you would anyway add water. So there are both recipes which I mentioned. I'm going to show you the thicker dahi version. The other version is just the same with additional water and a little more of the thickener. For a thickener, we are going to use brown rice flour. Now, instead of using white rice, which has got less fiber, and instead of using things like agar-agar or corn flour, which are highly processed, we're using the as wholesome form as possible, which is brown rice atta as a thickener. So let's get started. So we start with soaked peanuts. Peanuts to be soaked for at least 6 to 8 hours or overnight. If you're using almonds, the same thing. You can even use half the quantity of nuts as almond and cashews. I'm going to add some of the water, not all of it. The tip that I shared with you while making soya milk as well, so that it gets blended very nicely, and it doesn't matter whether you have a high powered blender or not. For the purpose of making dahi, we will have to strain it, so we can use a nut milk bag. Again, the pulp that is getting generated after removing the peanut milk can be used for thickening curries, can be used in parathas, in patties. This is again very protein rich, so you don't need to waste it. Now that our milk is ready, we're going to take some of this ready milk and we're going to make a slurry with the rice flour. This just helps so that it doesn't form lumps and we get a thick consistency for the dahi. Just make sure that there are no lumps and you blend this nicely. Just use motion like this and ensure that the flour is well blended. Okay, and we need to now heat this milk so that we cook it. Now this is our peanut milk which is getting cooked, and this slurry that we have made, we need to add it to this milk. We add a little bit, and then we mix, and a little more. Don't add it all at one go because it can form lumps easily. Keep stirring on and off because this will burn if you're not careful. And again, remember to use a heavy bottom pan because it will burn very quickly otherwise. This is already boiled and it will come to a proper boil like dairy milk does. And here we have it. So this is now ready. What we will do is leave it to cool for a bit. It will form a cream on top. We'll blend that in and then add the starter. So let's wait for it to cool. As you can see, there's like a cream which has formed on the mixture of the peanut milk. So we just blend it in well so that there are no lumps, or you can even take it off. But we don't really need to waste. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a capsule. This is a probiotic capsule. This is a probiotic capsule called VSL number 3. I've given options what else you could use instead of this if you don't find the brand easily. And as always, like when you set dahi, you don't have to wait for it to be completely cold. You do need that little bit of warmth for the bacteria to grow well, and you don't want it to be hot because it will all the bacteria will die. So we take the probiotic and we blend it with our hand. And we'll just transfer it into the bowl that we're going to set it in. Now this dahi that will form will be really nice and thick. You need to cover it and keep it in a warm place like an oven. Obviously don't switch it on. And like regular dahi, it will take between 8 to 12 hours, even up to 20-24 hours. It depends on where you live and what the weather is. If it's cold, it will take longer. If it's summer, it will take much less. So between 8 to 20 hours is what it would take. So go ahead and keep this in a warm spot. And once you've got this right a few times with this capsule, you make it for the first time. For the second time, as we always do, take out some, to set for the next time. And once you've got a hang of this process, then you can also use these 3 different starters. You can use any one. I've explained in the notes how to get this water. This is moong dal soaked in water. So we use just the water. We drain out the moong dal. These are ginger pieces that can be used by themselves, and these are chili tops which are used just by themselves. So when the dahi is set, then you need to take these out if you're set with chili tops, or if you're set it with ginger pieces. And here of course you would only use the water. So let's have a look at how our dahi looks after it's set. So here's our dahi after it's set. This is the consistency. Perfect. It cuts also like actual dahi. So this is great to have in a form of a raita. You can make curry. You can add it for anything that you would use dahi for, the regular dahi, even dahi vadas. So this is the thick variety of dahi recipe that I showed you. If you made the one with more water, it would be thinner, and that you could use for things that you need thin dahi for. So go ahead and try this recipe and let me know how you like it.
Should I take the questions now?
Vinita, I'd probably just talk about the other details related to the course and the offer, and then we'll take up the questions. So I'll just share my screen now. Is my screen visible? So this bit Vinita has covered. This is actually a screenshot of our syllabus, the Everyday Dairy Free Delight syllabus. You can take a look again at what all. So you can see the whole range of dairy alternatives is getting covered in the course. From milk to cheese to curd. Then there are recipes using these dairy alternatives. So the course details mostly Vinita has talked about. I would just like to share with you all the course fee, which is the regular price of this course is 1250. However, for this, we have a limited period offer. We have a 25% off currently running. So the course you can enroll yourself for at this price, discounted price of rupees 9.
हम लोग खाएं बिरयानी गरम करो रायता खा के
Okay, so someone is.
मुझे भूख लग रही है
Rishma, can you please put everyone on mute? Thank you. So just coming back to the course offer, this is a special discount we are running. This is till Friday. So you can use this code VC25 to avail of this 25% off. And so you can avail this offer and pay rupees 937 for the course, which is otherwise, 1250. And you can, on your screen, you see this QR code, which you can scan from your camera to pay. Paytm details are also on your screen, and all these details are going to be shared in the WhatsApp group as well as the chat box. So I think that's about the course and the offer. Vinita, the screen can be on for anyone who wants to pay, and you can start taking up questions.
Sure. I'm just going to start from the top. So can we replace dairy cheese by plant-based cheese but not tofu? Yes. The recipes that I'm teaching you for cheese replacers are made without tofu. Well, the body is used to dairy like it's used to tea and coffee, like it's used to sugar, like it's used to, for some people, alcohol, for some people, cigarettes. Doesn't mean what we are used to is necessarily good for us. And as long as we take care of the nutrition and as long as we take care of the taste, then only once you try it will you know how beneficial it is. I didn't understand this question, Vandana. Ma'am, for patient with medications related to brain recovery. So what do you mean? What is your question? If you could please clarify. Please share the link to register for 9th September. I will do that. Can gut issues be solved by going dairy free? It would greatly improve, there's no question, but we need to look at your entire diet in totality as well as your lifestyle. Giving up dairy will help for sure, but there may be other causes and other foods that also, like for example, too much packaged food, refined food, frequent use of antibiotics, frequent use of antacids like Eno and Digene and Gelusil can also affect your gut. So giving up dairy can be the first step. And for some people, it will be the main step. And for some people, there will be other things that need to be worked on. So Tripti, since you've joined in late, I would suggest you wait for the recording that's going to be provided by Wellcure, and then you can watch, part that you missed. Your 2-year-old does not like dairy products at all. Can you please guide on how I can balance his diet without milk and dairy products? So let's understand, you have to up the protein and you have to up the calcium. Protein can come in the form of beans, legumes, sprouts, nuts, and seeds, and tofu. And for calcium, you can give him leafy greens in the form of chutneys, in the form of green smoothies. And you can give him sesame butter, which is again taught in this course because sesame is a very high source of calcium. So you don't have to worry as long as you make sure you get it, get him the protein and calcium from other sources. So Rashmi, your question is, can you skip the probiotic tablet? So I've seen people who try with chili tops for the first time, or ginger for the first time, or moong dal water for the first time. They don't always get the best results the first time. Eventually, you will get the hang of it. So if you're someone who has the time, has the patience, and doesn't mind maybe a few not perfectly set bowls of dahi, then you can definitely try without the probiotic tablet. And if you want a sure shot, great dahi and the first attempt, then use the tablet. Please share the side effects of milk. I already shared it in the previous part, but if quickly you'd like me to go through side effects. So it not only gets you a toxin, like a cocktail of toxins and hormones into your body. It can lead to diabetes, cancer, gut issues, weight issues, acne, and in terms of pure dropping of cholesterol, if you're looking at holistically reducing it, milk plays a part in that. So, Trupti, if your family is glued to regular cheese, it will take, it's not so difficult. My cheese is very simple. It does not have any additives or, thickeners or something which gives you that shape. But there are many courses, I think Wellcure also has hosted maybe in the past, where you can learn to make like all kinds of cheese, like block cheese and mozzarella cheese. So get started with this one, the basic cheese, which is not difficult, and then you can progress. There are many more messages that I see. Do we need to keep this screen sharing thing on? Or
No, I think we are putting the details in other places. I'll remove.
okay, no, it can stay. I'm just asking because it's easier for me to read the chat.
No, we can definitely, because we're putting the details otherwise also. I'll just stop sharing.
And you can just see, I'm just going to share the link that was asked. Just a moment. So here are the details. The link for the 9th September Ayurveda workshop, as well as my contact number, email, address, and Instagram. All of that I have put. I'd be really happy to have all of you follow me there. And those of you who are interested can check the link. Now let's get back to the questions. Okay. For fungal infections of the brain, I'm on medications for a year, so I won't be able to in this forum address how you can deal with it. This is mainly an introductory session for the dairy-free course. As a first step, you could give up dairy or at least reduce it drastically. And if you need to speak with me, you can contact me at the numbers given, and you can probably book a consultation. I would like to know your background. Yes. So I'm not an Ayurvedic doctor or a physician. I have studied Ayurveda diet, not remedies, and I'm not somebody who gives medicines or those treatments. I've studied Ayurvedic diet, and for details of where I've learned it, it's there on my website. You can check in about us. For fatty liver and cholesterol, plant-based milk is better. Yes. The other thing I just want to clarify that plant-based milk per se is good as a transition food. If you're somebody who's used to drinking a lot of milk, then for some time having plant-based milk is a good option. However, in the long run, it's better to eat the nuts and seeds themselves directly so that you don't lose out on the fiber. So it's not necessary you replace a glass of milk with another glass of milk, you know, because nutritively it's not the same in any case. You need different things for protein, you need different things for calcium. This milk is a substitute for making your tea, coffee, which anyway we say reduce, for making your kheer, for putting into muesli, or, you know, for recipes. But it's not a must have. I would rather you have nuts and seeds in a limited quantity if you have cholesterol and if you have a fatty liver, because ultimately to the body, any excess fat will deposit itself somewhere where it's not required. Yeah, it will be excessive if you're overdoing even the plant-based milk. Is there a healthy substitute of whipping cream in cakes? Well, I know people who use some soya-based whipping cream things. To be very honest, today everything has a substitute, okay? And these are all products. They are not clean, healthy options. If you're happy with doing with cashew and you just whip it up, like, you know, you make a paste and you whip it up, you know, in that mixing bowl in which we do the cake thing, which is like machine, with a machine, you can do that. It will not give you the same result, but at least it's healthy. If you want exactly like whipping cream, and honestly, what they're using today in commercial cakes, which is called whipping cream, does not have any dairy in any case. The brand Rich is completely plant-based, but it's completely unhealthy. So nowadays, bakeries and people who sell cakes, you know, the commercial ones, not the home bakers, the commercial ones have stopped using fresh cream for cakes. They're all using a plant-based one only. They just don't know it's plant-based. So if you want that consistency, and if it's a really once in a while thing, then just use the ready-made one. And if it's something that you're going to make on a regular basis for your children or your family, then use cashews. The name of the probiotic tablet, it's not a prebiotic, it's a probiotic. The prebiotic tablet is called VSL number 3. If you have thyroid, giving up dairy will help you in addition to making other changes. So the class Meera Zaveri is not an online class. You can start it and end it anytime once you register within a year. So do it whenever you like. Is dairy milk bad for diabetes? Well, I can tell you that's been the game changer for people who come to me, or to other people who work with plant-based food to drop levels. And like I said, there's no magic solution. Okay, you don't give up one thing and everything gets fixed. It's part of the program. It contributes largely, but if you think that just by giving up milk sab theek ho jayega, without exercise, without, you know, eating the right amount of fiber, without eating the right amount of protein, that's not going to happen. Nutritional yeast is expensive. Yes, it is. I don't recommend you have to have it. It's an option. Monica, ma'am, you want to say something? Yes. If you can unmute yourself. We don't know how to. On the left corner, it will say mute.
Need to change the settings. I'll do that. Then she can unmute herself.
Oh, okay.
She'll be able to unmute herself now. Ma'am, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, now it happened.
Yeah.
Hi, Vinita. Okay. I'm already following the whole food plant-based diet since last 28 months. And already I was a vegetarian also. I'm 67 now. मेरा एक था, जैसे आपने अभी कर्ड का दिखाया स्पेशली, मैंने बहुत टाइम कर्ड ट्राई किया, watching the YouTubes and everything. It never turned up. So I just gave it up. And I was so fond of like taking छाछ. तो जो चिल्ली के साथ ही मैंने किया था, तो एक तो मुझे आपसे पूछना था, जब भी आप क्वार्टर कप बोलते हो, so do we have to buy them? I used to do like with the, like, you know, कोई भी कटोरी ले ली, समझो इतनी ली, तो उसके हिसाब से पानी डाल दिया. I have not taken the measurement cups. So do we need to buy those measurement cups?
So just for the purpose of this recipe, let me make it easy for you. Okay, I will just convert the 1/4 cup. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just do it right now. So it's about 4 tablespoons.
It's okay, 4 tablespoons.
Spoons. Ideally, again, tablespoons का भी एक measurement होता है.
Yes.
It's 15 grams. So if you have a weighing scale, or if you have spoon measurement, it will make life easy. Honestly, it is not such a big problem with measurement. It is the proportion. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the biggest reason, because I have seen it with my experience, that people get put off when they can't do the dahi for the first few times and they give up. So that is why I say do the chilies, do the ginger once you have mastered making dahi with a tablet, because then you enjoyed eating the dahi for a few times, then you don't mind some experiments. But when you start with experiments, wo itna sara dahi ko phek do, family is saying, "Arey kya banaya, naya try,
Yes.
kuch acha nahi laga." So instead of that tablet, it stays in the fridge for a year, and once you use it the first time, the next time you don't need to use the tablet. फिर जिस तरह से you take from the existing dahi and you make a fresh batch, you take from this dahi. So you take the water as per whatever cup you take, but the decisive factor is to thicken it with the rice flour. A consistency aani chahiye, which should be little thicker than regular milk. It should be like almost like how coconut milk aata hai, Tetra Pak.
Yes.
That kind of consistency. Once you reach that, and you wait for it to become lukewarm and then add the capsule, there's no way it will not form.
तो अभी मैं समझो आपका 4 tablespoon लेती हूँ, तो I should take 200 ml water only बेटा?
Yes.
उसका तो thin आने, तो आपने thick के लिए कम लिया पानी?
नहीं, I added rice flour.
So for thin one you don't need the rice flour.
No, you never have to use thin for making dahi. You always need to make it thick.
Thick only, yes.
Peanuts and rice atta both have. So you finish boiling the peanut with the mixed.
Yes, I understood that.
You do that, add the rice water.
Yes.
And then you thicken it.
ठीक है. तो ये प्रोबायोटिक आपका कहाँ से मिलेगा ये कैप्सूल?
नॉर्मल केमिस्ट के पास मिलता है.
Okay, I can get that.
Yes.
तो मैम जब भी मैं पेमेंट करती हूँ, जैसे आपका भी मैंने फोटो पे like I just clicked here.
Yes.
One sec, because I don't know Google payments and all that. My daughter does only NEFT, for me. So one sec, आपका ये आया है like GPay and Paytm number 991060. So समझो मैं कल परसों पे करती हूँ, जैसे आपने 9th ले आज 7th है, okay, 9th last date है. So do I have to start the course from the same day? Suppose I want to start late.
And someone from Wellcure, please contact ma'am and sort it out for her so she can figure out the payment, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Ma'am, are you there in the WhatsApp group?
Yes. No, मैं नहीं हूँ, WhatsApp group में नहीं हूँ बेटा. I just contacted your company well this one.
So chat box में ना आप WhatsApp group का link में please आप join कीजिए so that we can be in touch with you for payment and other details.
Okay, ठीक है. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So my extended family always argues with me for non-usage of dairy. So now I was very subtle when I started. Okay, some people I just said allergy hai. Some people I said it doesn't suit me or I don't like it. I did not make a statement that I am vegan or I don't want to drink milk or milk is bad or anything. And you just have to go a little sensibly about it. First, you need to be convinced. Is it helping you? Are you seeing the benefits? Then how to tackle it becomes a secondary thing. I'm not saying it's easy, but overall, if you stay committed, but allowing other people to make their choices, they tend to respect you. If you go on preaching and you go on telling people when they have not asked you, then people don't respect that because it's very ingrained in our culture. Okay, if you're going to talk against it, people do not like it. And it's not about going against culture, it's about going with what our current lifestyle and our current scenario is, where India is the #1 in the world for diabetes, #1 in the world for cardiovascular diseases. And this is a new way of dealing with it. For most people, it is take tablets and live life, continue. If you are taking health in your own hands, obviously it's going to be hard. Obviously, people are going to have a problem with it. And whenever someone does something different, very often people also criticize because they are themselves not able to take a stand about many other things. So when someone is different, you become the focus. So you almost have to take it like you're doing something right. That's why people have an issue. If you were blending in, people wouldn't have an issue. but be very, very compassionate and very gentle towards others. There's no point trying to tell people who don't want to be told. Let people ask you, Are, what happened, Trupti? You are looking so good, your skin has cleared up, or Are, you have lost weight, Are, this, Are, that. When people ask you, then you say what you want to say, not otherwise.
I have a similar question regarding that cheese. You answered that. So can I ask that the cheese recipe you have shared does not need a nutritional yeast? Is that so?
Yes.
It's without that?
Yes, it's very, very
Because
simple.
even I have a question on the nutritional yeast. I'm not very confident to you or comfortable using that something which is ready made.
Recipe does not have it. In fact, मेरे घर पे nutritional yeast का डब्बा is just lying around. Sometimes when I want to try something, I just use it. I don't use it otherwise. In our house, this basic cheese is made.
Yeah, because even I want to try experiment with lot of cheese, and I tried, but it did not work for me because nutritional yeast was the main component in it. And I'm more into healthy baking, where I don't even use baking soda and baking powder and all that stuff. So moving to sourdough, and hence my concern major was the nutritional yeast.
I haven't used it in the cheese.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Vandana, if you'd like to plan an appointment with me, please contact me on the numbers that I've shared on the chat. Can you have, someone else has asked, Shiraz has asked, how can I have tea with plant-based milk? Just like you have regular milk, just like that. Just make sure it's fresh. This milk does not last. So you have to, make the milk fresh and then have it. Otherwise, it tends to curdle. Aquafaba is a good alternative, yes, for the whipped cream, right? Yeah, but Aquafaba, if I start explaining that, people are going to be like, how to do it, what to do, that you need an electric beater, and sweetening it is a bit of a challenge. It's not that easy. Also, abroad you get those chickpea tins which have that liquid, so that makes it easier. When you have to do everything yourself, it's a task.
Indian नहीं होगा यहाँ पे.
Yeah. Mozzarella cheese, is it healthy? Now, which kind are you asking me? I think even the plant-based ones, if they have too many additives or too many things to make it mimic mozzarella, it's not worth it, in my opinion, but to each his own. I make almond milk at home for a few recipes, but it curdles. If I used to make desi tea with normal patti and China, I don't understand your question, but I think you're trying to say that when you try and make tea with almond milk, it tends to curdle. So you need to make sure the temperature of the almond milk and the temperature of the tea are not very different. If the tea is very hot and the almond milk is cold, it will curdle. If it's not fresh, it will curdle. And anyway, as I said, milk should be used as transition food or in recipes. Even for tea, it's better to reduce it. But just for someone who can't do without it and is transitioning, if this is really a hassle, then just buy a Tetra Pak. Because that has the stabilizers, which is why it doesn't curdle. Our milk is fresh, it doesn't have anything. So using nuts every day, will it not increase cholesterol? You're very right. It can. Not maybe necessarily add cholesterol, but it can increase the fat percentage in your body. Okay, so that's why we recommend not more than a fistful of nuts. That is if you are almost oil free or very less on oil. If we have high allergy level of paneer and cheese, can we substitute for plant-based cheese and paneer? Yes, Manisha, you can do it even if you don't have an allergy. Try it out. So what are we teaching in the course has been mentioned up, Urvi. If adding good in tea, almond milk, it will curdle, can't be helped. That's just the way it is. Even with, you can try stevia if you wish, or even better, make a herbal tea which doesn't require milk or jaggery. So if you want to learn how to make the process smooth and easy, the simplest thing I can say is, if you don't want to get into a consultation with me, just follow me on social media. And if you just go through my feed, if you go through my website, there are so many resources, free resources that you can go through. There's transition of anything is hard. It's once you decide, you find ways. And for some people, it's quick. Some people, it's fast. It depends on your support system. It depends on so many things. but it's getting easier because now 5 years ago when I started, or 6 years ago when I started, if you had to go out and explain to anybody in a restaurant what vegan food was, they didn't understand. There was such few products available. Now everything is available, and you will find it getting easier and easier. People, by athletes also becoming plant-based, people have understood, oh, there is a benefit, that's why people are doing it. So from now on, things will get easier. But culturally, we are a very dairy focused culture. So it will always meet with some resistance. I have finished all the questions so far. Can you give some names of vegan restaurants? Surely, which city are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
Mumbai, they're spoiled for choice. Which
Okay.
part of Bombay are you from?
Pardon?
Which part of Bombay are you from?
I stay in Vikhroli.
Vikhroli. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Pardon?
Imagine Cafe, Mulund in Bandra. You can write it down if you want. Imagine Earth,
Yeah.
Earth Cafe, Seeds of Life, Bird Song Cafe, Village Shop, Farmers Cafe. There's just so many. So go, okay, those of you who want, go to my website. On the resources, there are all these listed.
So these are proper restaurants or even like bakeries or stuff? Yeah.
There are some which are bakeries, there are some which are restaurants. They have some baked items. Today you get home bakers making vegan croissants. I mean, what else do we want?
Ma'am, I wanted to know what all thing is included in the course.
Urvi is asking this. Can you share with Urvi, please? Whoever is dealing with it from Wellcure,
Yeah,
please.
because I've joined in late, no, so I've missed the starting part, so I'm not really aware.
They will update you. They will update
So, Urvi, the course syllabus has been shared in the chat box. It's in the WhatsApp group as well. I hope you're there on the WhatsApp group. If not, then please join using the link which has been shared in the chat box. And even the recording of the session, since you missed some bit of the session, the recording of the session will also be shared in the WhatsApp group. So I request you to join the WhatsApp group. You can be in touch with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. Hiteshi has asked for vegan restaurants in Delhi. Is it okay? I'm taking these questions. They're not directly related to the course.
Yeah. Only thing is, we'll just need to keep in mind the time. No,
I will close. Till I have questions, I will answer.
Yeah.
So in Delhi, my favorite is Greener Cafe. I know there's something called Roses Cafe. There is some.
Okay, online channel,
Somebody's off mute. I would suggest, again, go to my website or just Google vegan restaurants in Delhi. I know there are many, but at the spur of the moment, I'm not able to remember, but I'll still Google and tell you which ones I know. If there are any more questions, let's take them related to the course as well.
So I would again request everyone who's not on the group, because I still see messages. So the WhatsApp group link is shared in the chat box. Preeti, can you please join from there?
So for Delhi, there's Getafix, Rose Cafe, Greener, Burma, Roadhouse Cafe is the one I was trying to remember. There are a few. And so there may not be vegan restaurants 100%, but a lot of restaurants are offering vegan options. I'm sharing my details again, someone asked. All right. Would you like to wind up, Shweta?
Yeah, so it's very interesting how the session moved from the struggle of going dairy free to the joy of going dairy free. So I'm sure while people will be visiting these cafes, they will definitely be joining this course, which is definitely very handy. And they would have also got some idea from the recipe that has been demonstrated. So these are the videos that will be shared in the course. And you will also have support from Vinita if you get stuck somewhere, if you have some doubts, if there are failures. So I'm sure we'll see more of you signing up for the course. Do avail of the special offer. Details are shared in the chat box and on the group also. With this, we are good to conclude the session. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Vinita, for sharing that insightful presentation, for answering all the questions so patiently. Trust there is another question coming up. Okay, so not having tea at this time, enjoying my pear cut by my hubby. That's so sweet, Monica ji. So we're good to conclude now, Vinita. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone. Have a great evening ahead.